Welcome everyone to our Happy Senior program. This is our third session for this year. And the topic for today's evening is eye care as a special subject. And then we have wonderful faculty, Vaidya Manohar Palkruti, who is specialized into the Ayurveda. And he's going to share the Ayurvedic perspective for the dry eye and then overall heart health. So I want to share a little bit about the mission of Crack the Wellness Code is to educate, inspire, empower, and impact. And then so far we had done 115 plus events. We had 500 plus 50 speakers we hosted. And then we are supported by 300 plus doctors and practitioners who are affiliated with us. And we have wider reach out, and especially after Corona, we had a lot widespread activities and events since to support the community. So this is a snapshot of a calendar for your reference. So as you see, everything is coded with the different activities we are doing. So you can see the snapshot of the same for the whole year. This is how it's roughly divided. Happy Seniors happen every second Mondays, Youth Forum every fourth Sundays, Wellness Support Group every third Saturday, and then the specials happens on second Fridays and last Saturdays. So this is about our speaker, as you see him in action. And these are the learning objectives for today evening. So one will be the Ayurvedic perspective of dry eye syndrome and then optimal eye health and care. Second one is individual constitution called as doshas in Ayurveda. So understanding best about the doshas on balance and imbalance for optimal eye health. Also key to prevention, so life in accordance with natural law. Ayurvedic pathophysiology of dry eye, and then common tips about do's and don'ts for dry eye, and also for overall eye health and conditions. This is about our faculty today. Vaidya Manohar Palkruti is a globally respected Maharishi Ayurveda expert. His approach is consciousness-based approach to health. And he was blessed to work with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi for over 3 decades. Vaidya Manohar has taught Maharishi Ayurveda courses, including Maharishi Nadi Vigyan. Nadi Vigyan means the pulse diagnosis on the global level. He's also currently a professor and clinical director, Department of Physiology and Health at Maharishi International University, USA. He consults for Maharishi Ayurveda course development for physicians in USA, Japan, and in Europe, and also for the development of Maharishi Ayurveda herbal products. Vaidya Palakruti was trained by and worked with renowned experts such as Vaidya Balaraj Maharishi, the world-leading expert in Dravya Guna, and then Rajavaidya Brihaspati Dev Triguna, the world's leading expert in Nadi Vigyan, and the Vaidya VM Dwivedi, former vice chancellors of Jamnagar Ayurveda University, the world's leading expert in Ayurvedic mineral and matter preparations. So if you have interest to know more about Vaidya Manohar's work or his activities, or you want to volunteer with us, this is the way to reach us at events@cwc.org. I welcome you all.
Giving this opportunity and creating this platform to help all mankind, especially seniors. It's a great service and really appreciate for doing such a educational programs for all humanity. And thank you all the committee in this organization and to help to enliven the health consciousness in the whole world. Beautiful, beautiful. Really enjoyed and they see the quality of administration and execution of all these programs. So beautiful, makes me so happy. And I'm very happy to participate in this event. And thank you again for everyone. So as Sachinji introduced myself, I am a professor and a clinical director in Maharshi International University. The president is John Heglin, and one of the world's the best physicist, one of the world's best physicist. And the founder is His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi of this university. We offer this physiology and health course. The head of the chair is Keith Wallace, and we are very happy to teach this course. Many students involved, and now almost 600 students for master's program. So happy to share this information to you. Yes, now today is dry eye syndrome. Dry eye syndrome, one of the, I think, one of the a common issue in senior people. The reason I will explain to you step by step. In this whole lecture, what we try to do is in the beginning slides and importance of consciousness and the primordial principles of consciousness, biological principles, vata, pitta, kapha, and their qualities and their function in the physiology, and also their places also. And then afterwards, there is a principle in Charaka Samhita, one of the top book literature in Ayurveda. In Charaka Samhita, one principle, taken that principle and try to explain to you what is this dry eye syndrome. Charaka Samhita explains Hetur Linga Aushada Jnanam. If you know the cause and the symptoms and the knowledge of therapeutics, it's a complete concept for understanding and knowing and also treating. Treating means applying therapeutic procedures. So taking this principle, we try to explain in this presentation what are the causative factors for the dry eye and what are the symptoms and what are the simple procedures. You can do it at home or take some simple tonics, rejuvenating tonics for eyes explained. So we will go through one slide after one and I'll try to explain to you. But most important thing is what is Dr. Sachin and his team is trying to do to the senior people is very great work, because the senior people are a treasure of knowledge. So we don't want to lose that treasure of knowledge for the younger generations from them. So very important to respect them and to help them to keep their health is very important. So this protects the whole society, keeping senior people happy and healthy. So the concept is great. The concept is great because Mahashiji explains what is Upanishad. Upanishad means near to the transcending, near to the transcendence, near to the transcendence. It's the senior. Senior means they are near to the transcendence, that senior. They see that value of the consciousness by being near to the transcendence. That's why the seniors are a treasure of knowledge, and helping them is a great virtue. And again, I appreciate all the team, Dr. Sachin and his team, for doing this thing. So I will start now the first slide. The first slide Maharshi Mahesh Yogi explains the physiology is consciousness. This is very important abstract principle of the Ayurveda. Maharshi consciousness based approach to health explains everything what we see is consciousness. Neha nanasti kinchanat. That manifesting diversity is from unmanifest, from the absolute. This is the same theory in physics, it is explained. That's called unified field theory. That unity is the source of all emerging principles of that diversity. Same thing in this slide. We explained that unified field. From there, how this smaller than smallest units of the human physiology evolving to the bigger than biggest of this whole universe and environment, galaxies. So if you see in this slide, the DNA, RNA, proteins, and also macromolecule systems and cell components and cells and then tissues, organs, systems, organism, and the physiology of society and the near environment and far environment. This is how the whole individually is evolving through these different layers of the expressions within the whole universe. But what is the bottom line is that unified field. That unified field is explained in Maharshi, in Ayurveda, in Maharshi Ayurveda, in every Ayurveda also. Atma. Atma is the unified field. It is absolute field. From there, all that manifesting physiology is expressed. And that way, this manifesting physiology also in association with the different layers of the environment, society, and then near and far environments. But what is in this slide we are showing? So these are the waves of expressions. But what is the deepest in this ocean of physiology or in the ocean of consciousness? What is the deepest is the Atma. And how to connect this? How to connect this? Should be a technique, very simple, effortless technique, transcendental meditation, and studied and also researched more than 125 universities all over the world and more than 700-800 papers, proven. It is a scientific technique and experiencing that Atma through the transcendental meditation. The founder is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And that is the source of, that is the fundamental principle of health, experiencing Atma. That is in Ayurveda explained, Swastha, establish in self. Establish in self, that is the source of health. This is the fundamental principle of health. Now, from this absolute field, there is a relative field expressed. That relative field is the physiology. In that relative field, what are the three main basic bio principles are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Now here you see Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is like a transportation, movement, and communication. Pitta is like metabolism, digestion, transformation, structure, cohesion, and lubrication. I will explain how this Vata, Pitta, Kapha is in relationship with the dry eye in the next slides. But what is important, what are these Vata, Pitta, Kapha? So there is for every science, there is a theory. But Ayurveda science has also a theory, very important theory, that is called Pancha Mahabhautika Siddhanta, the theory of five elements. This theory of five elements, based on that, the whole explanation of this science is there. And then within that, the first three bio principles, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, pairing the two of the dominant elements of the five elements is considered as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. But saying that, but everything has these five elements. Whatever is manifesting expression that has these five elements, but predominance of these five elements is called the ratio of these elements or predominance of this element, every manifest object looks different and a different function, different qualities and different expressions. So what are those three principles? Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata is, now I'm going to go to the next slide. These locations of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata is the colon area. Oh, sorry. Vata is the colon area. Pitta is the middle part of the area. Kapha is the upper part of the area. So Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. Next slide. So generally, you might have heard already the genotype and phenotype. Genotype is encoded in your genes, these principles of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Phenotype is the expression of that character. Is called phenotype. So now think about this genotype. Vata predominant people are thin, light, clear, moving, happy, enthusiastic. Pitta people are very focused, one-pointed, and very intellectual, and then precise and sharp. Sharp, success oriented. Generally, all educates, and then anyone can be Pitta, but mostly we see in the doctors and engineers and all these educated people. Kapha. Kapha people are relaxed, stable, and happy, and steady, and also strong, and also looks like a little bit healthy. Healthy means the other people also look healthy, but in weight they look a good weight and healthy looking. So this is a general, simple, basic understanding of Vata, Pitta, Kapha people. So we explained space and air related to the Vata dosha, fire and water, Pitta dosha, and water and earth, Kapha dosha. Now we are talking about the dry eye syndrome today. So now if you see what creates the dryness, so air creates the dryness, and this together, air and space, it is responsible to creating dryness. Wherever the wet is there, we just switch on the fan, then naturally it dries up. So same thing within the eyes also, the Vata dosha is responsible if increased Vata dosha. Balanced Vata dosha is excellent for the clarity of the vision. And then increased Vata dosha is responsible creating the dryness. Now coming to the Pitta. So fire and water. The fire and water together is called Pitta dosha. The Pitta dosha is responsible for light, and also for sharpness of the vision. And if it is increased, then it creates the inflammation. And water and earth is together is Kapha dosha, and the Kapha dosha is for lubrication, opposite to the Vata dosha. A Kapha dosha in balanced state, it creates beautiful softness, smoothness, and lubrication in the eye. And if it is increased, then what happens? Then creates that heaviness, dullness, matter, and also blurred vision, and that heaviness, like some obstructed vision could be possible. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, these three are very important for vision. But what is the most important? And it's beautifully mentioned in Vedic literature. Atmavare drashtavyam srotavyam mantavyam nididhyasitavyam. That means even though we think the eye is the organ for vision, but who is seeing real? The seeing real, the real vision is from that self, Atma. Atma is the worthy alone to see, to hear, to touch, to smell, to taste. That's because of being self-referral, only you can experience all this knowledge. And if you are only object referral, if you deviated from the self, then you losing that knowledge. That's why it's very important. Even though we say all these things, the five sense organs are located in the head. In literature, it says, Sarvasya Gatrasya Siraha Pradhanam, Sarvendriyanam, Nayanam Pradhanam. The whole physiology, the head is the most important organ. Why? not only having the brain, but also there is 5 doors for the experiencing the knowledge. Pancha Jnana Indriyas, 5 sensory organs which are located in the head. One of the main organ is eye. Sarvendriyanam Nayanam Pradhanam. Out of the 5 sense organs, eye is the most important sense organ. But again, saying that Atmajnanam Param Jyoti, Atmajnanam Param Jyoti, this knowledge of self is illuminating light. This illuminating light which helps this drishti in the eyes. That's why to have a great vision, one has to experience the consciousness. One has to establish in consciousness, because that is the field where every knowledge is perceived. In Charaka Samhita, it says also, Indriya, Pancha Indriya Jnana Samsritam Hrudayam. Heart is the place for the location, a perceiver of all the 5 sensory organs. Whether heart is perceiving, yes, but there is something in the heart. Hrudayam Chetana Sthanam. Hrudayam is the heart, is the location for the consciousness. Chetana. Chetana means Atma. So this Atma, that which is perceiving all the 5 sensory perceptions. That's why very important to have that experience of consciousness, not just simply cleaning the eyes and taking some medicines for the eye, very important. But on the same time, one has to be come back to the self. Swarupe avasthanam, establish in their own nature. What is the real nature of any individual is Atma. So experiencing that Atma, which is the source of experiencing the total knowledge. Knowledge is structured in consciousness. Knowledge is structured in consciousness. That's important. Next. Now, explaining these 3 principles, Vata. What are the qualities of Vata? The qualities of Vata are the qualities of air and space element. Air and space both are dry, light, cold, rough, subtle, moving, and clear. These are the qualities. So as I said, if these qualities increases, this is the one of the main causative factor for dry eye. And this Vata has a great influence on individual physiology by the behavior, routine, diet, environment, and also age. Very important, age. First 30 years is Kapha time, second 30 years is Pitta time, and after 60 is Vata time. Especially seniors consider after 60. So they are in that period, Vata time period. So in the Vata time, generally what happens, they are prone to create these qualities, prone to accumulate these qualities: dryness in the joints, dryness in the skin, dryness in the sensory organs, dryness in the eyes, feeling lightness in the body, feeling coldness in the body, easy to get aches and pains, roughness in the skin and also in the mind, some unsettledness, and very subtleness, feeling all subtleness, and then feeling that qualities not stable, moving, all the time, unsettling. And also increased Vata creates not necessarily more clear, but creates more light. Within that lightness, that clarity will be there, but it is more light. So this is what about Vata. So that means very important, after 60, one need to maintain balance in Vata, because they are prone to imbalance in Vata. Especially, again, as I mentioned, Vata Prakriti people, the body types, Vata body type, Pitta body type, Kapha body type. The Vata body type people are more prone to Vata imbalance. Anybody can be prone to be Vata imbalance, but mainly Vata body type. The Vata body type, as I mentioned, thin, lean, that type of body type. So next principle, Pitta. So the Pitta principle is slightly oily, hot, sharp, sour, pungent, liquid, flowing. So these qualities attributed by the fire and water. These principles are very important for digestion, metabolism, and transformation. By increase of these principles, then creates the inflammation in the eye. So that's why it's very important to maintain balance in the pitta also. In fact, the tear layer when it breaks, and first dryness and then inflammation, then afterwards some heaviness and then muddiness comes into the eyes. So like this stages, vata then leads to the pitta inflammation and then creates some ama or impurities within the eye. So the pitta is also very important. Pitta is mainly in the middle age, 30 to 60. So the people in that age group, very important to maintain balance in Pitta. Especially Pitta Prakriti people are more prone to these disorders of Pitta. Because feeling hot and changes in the skin and then feeling sharpness and all those different imbalances related to the pitta, skin, eye, also digestive problems and emotional problems, everything involves there. Next, kapha qualities. Kapha has a oily, heavy, cool, slow, dull, sticky and stable. These qualities attributed by the earth and water elements. These two elements which are predominant in the kapha. So this kapha is especially the first year to the 30 years. This is the time of kapha. So in this time, if anybody is prone to increase these qualities in their physiology is kapha prakriti. But anyone can imbalance the kapha by following these principles in their behavior, diet, routine, and environment. So this kapha increase creates all this matter in the eyes and also too much oiliness and laziness in the eyes. These things could be possible. The most important functions of kapha is structure, lubrication, and cohesion. That means if kapha is decreased, then lubrication in the eye decreases. So a very important role, even though we say the dry eye is because of increased vata, but increased vata is because of decreased kapha. The vata is quite opposite to the kapha. That's why if one increases, naturally every action has opposite reaction. So that same principle. If vata is increased, kapha is decreasing, lubrication gets decreased, and dryness and coldness and roughness increases in the eyes. So that is to be understood. So that means from these three charts, what you have learned is for eye health, vata is important, pitta is important, kapha is important. Three, balanced state is very important for eye health. Now, this is very important statement. The key to prevention, life in accord with the natural law. Life in accord with the natural law. What is natural law? Natural law is made of 5 elements. Individual also made of 5 elements. Yavante purushaha tavante loka sametaha. The purusha, the individual is one-to-one relationship with the whole universe. In everything, whatever is manifest universe is made of 5 elements. Individual also made of five elements. And all disease due to violation of natural law. If there is a disharmony between individual life and this cosmic life, with that which is administered by the natural law, and individual life also administered by the natural law, human laws, and the human laws are not different from the natural laws of the cosmic nature. So if individual is maintaining synchrony, harmony, and unitedness with the laws of nature, That means he is maintaining health. If he is violation of that natural law, means that is coming into the disorderliness. That is what is happening now, all this pandemic. This is simply violation of natural law, disharmony with the nature. And because of we are thinking in the great knowledge in everything whatever we are now experiencing, all this technology and all those things, that's great. But what is a fundamental principle of human life is natural law. If you are violating that natural law, doesn't matter how technically you are evolved and experienced and then developed, but no benefit. No benefit of that. But what is most important is harmony with the laws of nature. Perfect health and prevention of disease results from life in accord with natural law. The life in accord with the natural law. What is this life? Life also made of five elements, natural also made of five elements. So samanya siddhanta, it is explained in Ayurveda, principle of similarity. When principle of similarity applied, what happens? Three things happens within the human physiology. Number one, unitedness. Number two, growth. Number three, similar principles, unitedness, growth, and similar principles. If laws of nature entertaining the happiness, and that means individual also entertaining the happiness. The whole purpose of life is expansion of happiness. That is the most important principle of life. Hmm? Next slide. Now coming to the directly to our lecture today. Dry eyes are caused by a variety of reasons that disrupt the healthy tear film. Your tear film has three layers. One is fatty oils, that is kapha, aqueous fluid, that is apa. Apa means one of the element of the five elements, water, and mucus. The mucus is heavy, sticky, pleasant heaviness, pleasant stickiness. That is from kapha. So these three administering the health of this tear film. This combination normally keeps the surface of your eyes lubricated, smooth, and clear. So according to Ayurveda, the Vata is like a transporting these fatty oils, and Pitta is to maintaining the metabolism within that acids and also the fluids. And Kapha is original, the real structure of that fluids and then the oils. So think like that. Next slide. Dry eyes, modern medicine perspective. Dry eyes can occur when a tear production or drainage are not in balance. People with dry eyes either do not produce enough tears or tears are of a poor quality. So here, very beautiful principles. Very beautiful principle is based on quantity and quality. This is a measurement theory of science, that which is naturally applied in Ayurveda. Everything there is a quantity and there is a quality. For every principle which is discussed in Ayurveda has a quantity. They given quantity to the accept the doshas, but quantity given to the tissues, quantity given to the even metabolic waste, quantities given to the everything, whatever is manifest within the physiology, and also mentioned qualities. If the quantity is increased and the quality also increases, that increased quantity and quality is not necessarily balance. The decreased quantity and quality is also necessary is balance. What is sama? Sama has sukha. Sukha has saha. Sama means balance, sukha means happiness, and saha means togetherness. The balanced state of the quantity and quality, which brings that happiness and togetherness and then balanced state. So that's very important in the tears also. The quantity and quality of the tears to be maintained in its quantity and quality. Ayurveda describes the similar condition is called Sushka Kshipaka, Vata predominance, mentioned under diseases offering all parts of eye. So this dryness affected all the structure of that eye. Sarvagata netra roga. Sarvagata means the whole eye gets affected by this condition. Based on our current knowledge of dry eye syndrome, it is more appropriate to consider it is an ocular surface inflammatory condition which initially starts with the dryness and later turns into the inflammation and later turns into some impurities accumulation in those areas. So vata pitta kapha, as I explained in the beginning. Next, common causes for the dry eyes. Common causes for dry eyes, age, as I said, after 60, it's more prone. Hormonal changes. Hormonal changes also can affect the dry eyes, and especially in women, menstruation, menopause, and senior women can get this condition easily. And also exposure too much wind, exposure too much heat, exposure too much environmental toxicants and dust, and using air conditioning, closed doors. We use air condition and directly dries up. And cigarette smoking and hair dryers, using this all the time. Take the shower and then use the hair dryer for the quickness of the modern age. Next one, not blinking enough, sitting hours together in front of computers, in front of screens, and then not blinking their eyes. One of the dangerous concept. So this is not at all good. And also contact lenses is not good. And laser vision, many people going through certain necessary emergency conditions, they go with laser technology, and then using that technology also giving some saving their vision, but also giving some side effects. So one of the side effect is dryness. Certain medications also causes this. Antihistamines, some antidepressants, and birth control pills, and nasal decongestants, and the prescription drugs for the acne drugs, and all those things. Some other diseases attack the tear glands, such as autoimmune conditions, Sjogren's disease, and also different conditions, sarcoidosis, and those conditions. Now, the main general causative factors are the main causative factors: dry climate, extreme weather conditions, hot blowing air, dry air, plane and car, open tops, and then enjoying this ride and expose these eyes without any glasses to the very fast wind can cause this dry eyes. Forget to blink, and working in too much light, extreme things are not necessarily beneficial to any individual. Extreme light and very minimum light, working in those lights are not necessarily good. Cold, dry, rough food, strong spices, very hot spices, frozen food, too much fried food, smoking, alcohol, contact lenses, harsh sun, and high altitudes, all the time staying in high altitudes, and hiking, and then those things. Staying up nights, autoimmune conditions, Sjogren's and sarcoidosis, neurological, hormonal, pharmacological, hyponutritional, not having enough nutrition, vitamin A, and all those things. So infections, inflammatory conditions, trauma, surgeries, all these conditions, very, much connected to the dry eye syndrome. Next, Ayurvedic pathophysiology. How to explain this? As we discussed Vata, Pitta, Kapha in the bio principles, out of these things, Vata increase and Pitta increase. And naturally, when Vata and Pitta increasing and Kapha gets diminished. Kapha is sustaining the lubrication and smoothness, softness, oiliness in the eye gets diminished. So that's why in the doshas, Vata and Pitta are dominant. And dusya means vitiating factors. So what is it is vitiating? Plasma and blood, muscle, and fat. These tissues gets vitiated because of increased qualities of Vata and Pitta. Then Agni becomes weak or irregular or dull. And then Srotas, especially the channels which carries all the tissues, plasma, blood, blood vessels, these gets vitiated. Shrato is what happens in the eye because blockage called sanga, means blockage, so that stops the production of the tears, so that dryness develops in the eyes. and it is the middle pathway of the disease. Disease is explained external, internal, and middle pathway. Middle pathway means vital areas of the physiology. Those are called in Ayurveda marma sthana, marma, asti, and sandhi. Sandhi means joints, joints, and then bone, and also the vital areas explained in Ayurveda. 107 by Maharshi Susruta. And head is one of the main marma. Within the head, eyes also having marma points. So because eyes are affecting, that's why it is madhyama. Madhyama means a middle pathway. Expression all over the eye. This is a simple way to understand what happens within the physiology in the level of doshas, in the level of tissues, in the level of channels, and the nature of the blockage. Nature of the vitiation is blockage, and it is the middle pathway and all over the eye. Next, symptoms. What kind of symptoms it expresses? Narrowing of peripheral appearance and crusting of lids, blurred vision, redness, stinging, and scratching and burning, light and wind sensitive, thick mucus near the eyes, eyelids get stuck, and then foreign body sensation, something always, in the body because of the dryness, roughness, coldness, pricking pain and tearing pain and the desire for cold, cruciating pain, inflammation, different types of pain. The pain is always related to the principle of vata. If vata is increased, and different types of pain, as we said, pricking pain, tearing pain, cruciating pain, like all those things. Inflammation, burning is because of pitta, roughness in eyelids, aversion to the bright light, and redness. These are all very important symptoms one has to be experience in the dry eye syndrome. Now, prevention of the dry eye. So, Ayurveda is for prevention. Ayurveda is a prevention. Procedures for prevention. Remember always the procedures for prevention enhance the mechanics of the balance. This is what is Mahashiji explained to us. The procedures for prevention enhance the mechanics of the balance. You don't need to think and worry about how to restore balance or how to maintain balance. If you maintain the prevention principles, that helps restoration of balance and sustenance of balance and enjoying long life benefits. So the prevention is the most important principle in Ayurveda. Swastasya swasta rakshanam. That's the very important principle. And keeping health of healthy people is the purpose of Ayurveda. If anybody is coming without any symptoms, coming and seeing Ayurvedic physician, that means he is ideal person. Ideal person. Coming for a imbalance, it's okay. He can also come, but it is a secondary thing. First thing is you should go to see Ayurvedic physicians every, at least once in a 2 months, once in a 3 months, and give your pulse and then see then a state of balance and imbalance, and then the Vaidya or physician will recommend behavior, routine, diet, and certain herbs or sometimes certain purification procedures, so that it prevents all the imbalances not to come. Heyam dukkamanagatam, avoid the danger that has not yet come. That is the principle of Ayurveda, the best principle, absolute principle, protecting the health. Now, within this prevention, dry eye is avoid cold, dry foods, avoid carbonated drinks, to minimize the dryness. Remember to blink regularly when reading, staring at a computer screen for a long period of time. So blinking eyes and eye exercises also, moving all eyes. So there's different types of exercises also mentioned. Increase the humidity in the air at work and at home. Within this eye exercise, very simplest exercise is palming your eye, especially after eating, and once without losing that ardhrata. Ardhrata means that moistness from the hands. You should palm your eyes, and then palming your eyes. That will very beneficial. Increase the humidity in the air at work and at home. Wear sunglasses. UV protection and outdoors and protect yourself from UV light. And omega-3 and omega-6, flaxseed oil, black cumin oil, all are pro anti-inflammatory. And omega-3, we know it comes from the fish and all those things. If you are open to that, and that's fine to have. Omega-6 is available in olive oil, so beneficial also. Avoid dehydration, make sure you drinking water, but over drinking is also imbalance. As we said, the Ayurveda principle is moderation. There is a lot of myths about drinking water. Drinking too much or drinking, I need to drink 2 liters, I need to drink every day, 8 cups. All those philosophies not mentioned in Ayurveda. Ayurveda mentioned by being, you know what is your thirst and what is to drink, how much to drink. That's very important. It changes day to day by the environment, by the mental factor, by the physical back factors, by the digestive factors. It changes. So if one is established in self, he can understand all those changing factors, so that according to it, he will drink the water. But what is most important, hydrate yourself, drink enough water according to need. Avoid air getting blown in your eyes by directing, like from the heaters and all those different modern instruments. Avoid environments that are drier than normal, such as airplanes and all those things. So use of ghee, this is one of the simplest prevention principle. Ghee means a clarified butter. Clarified butter, everyone gets afraid, oh, it may increase the cholesterol. It's not the clarified butter increase the cholesterol, it is the doubt which increase the cholesterol. Ghee is excellent for the nervous system. And anything which is excellent for the nervous system, what is the nervous system? It knows distinguish and deciding factor. If you enliven the nervous system will help you not getting this cholesterol or anything, because absence of that distinguished deciding nature within the nervous system can result into the certain disorderliness in the physiology. But ghee is a promoter of nervous system, then how can you think ghee gets gives the cholesterol? But anyhow, by the Ayurvedic physician or your own physician, you will take the suggestion. But according to Ayurveda, ghee is the super superfood, good for the brain, mind, nervous system, and eyes. Next, these treatments, so here I'm just for explanation I'm explaining, but always you should consult the physician and also consult the Vaidya experts in this. In South India, we have a great institute, premier eye institute in Kerala, called Dr. Sachinji also knows about this institute called Sridhariyam. Sridhariyam is the institute. It's almost 500 bedded hospital, and then they treat only eye diseases. And this all range of eye diseases, many people coming there and then getting benefited, and people coming all over the world, from every country coming there. So I'm just trying to help you. There is such a place they can treat from uveitis to retina pigmentosa to the age-related macular degeneration, myopias, and all different types of diseases. There's more than 50 doctors there. They're really good to do these things. But this is just I'm giving some information to you, certain procedures, how these treatments will help. Eye drops, also many types of eye drops are available, but simply rose water, washing with rose water, organic rose water, triphala tea, lotus flower, petals, kumuda, steep in water, and that water also very beneficial. Jasmine flowers, steep in water and also use that water, very beneficial. Applying ghee, also very beneficial. Mm, all this sandalwood, also beneficial, applying the forehead and applying the not in the eye, but on the eyelids, also beneficial. Licorice tea also beneficial if you have hypertension or diabetes, so need to consult your physician. Honey is also excellent rasayana, rejuvenator for the eye, for good lacrimation, and then removes the burning sensation. Irrigation of eye, that is called parisheka. Irrigation of eyes with the lukewarm or cold milk or water or herbal decoctions. There's a procedure called netradhara, pouring this decoctions or different liquids on the eyes. Depends on individual physiology and associated other problems. So they decide this particular decoctions and then pouring those decoction on the eye, which is beneficial, very good for the dry eye. And anjana is the special procedures in Ayurveda and also in the ancient procedures applied in India, Asian countries and certain communities, and collyrium, like applying these ointments to the eyes. And I am giving some trifalanjanam, but the Sridharayam in Kerala has so many types of anjanams for different diseases. Next, fourth point, eye nourishment and rehydration. This is one of the very popular and everyone knows this treatment is called Tarpana. Tarpana means nourishing, nourishing to the eyes, because dryness, roughness and inflammation is lack of that nourishment because vata increased. Nourishment means inducing kapha qualities. That inducing kapha qualities through this tarpana. Tarpana supplements the this treatment, like building a bridge around the eyes and filling with ghee, medicated ghee, a particular ghee selected for particular persons, especially Triphala ghee, Jivaniya, Jivantyadi Grutam, Patoladi Grutam, plain ghee sometimes. These types of ghees are very beneficial to the eyes. And fifth one is a nasal lubrication. And because the nose is the gateway of the brain, and also it supplies all the nourishment, rejuvenation to the senses and all the cranial nerves. So that's why if any blockage in this process of information to the eyes gets blocked, and Nasya Karma is also very beneficial. Nasya Karma means nasal administration of oil, which open the blocks and to allow the senses to experience the perfect knowledge. And there are a lot of other techniques, Shiro Abhyangam, and oil application to the head, and also Shiro Pichu. Take a gauze cloth and dip it into medicated ghee or oil, applying to the head. And Shiro Talam means create a hole on the hair, with a paste and then keep it on the head and then fill with some oil. So Shiro Basti, keeping a cap and then filling with oil. So like lot of treatments here, because of time, simply some information is given. Beneficial factors. Beneficial factors. Yava means barley, and also amaranthus leaves and moringa leaves, very beneficial. And coriander leaves or cilantro, parsley, very beneficial. Spices and also adding to the vegetables. And moong dal, moong dal is also very beneficial. Pomegranate, dadima means pomegranate, also very beneficial. Sita means rock salt. No, sorry. Sita means rock sugar, also very beneficial. Triphala, very popular rasayana. It's very good for the eyes. Everyone thinks Triphala is for for colon. But it's a great rasayana for eyes. Grapes, especially dried grapes, raisins, figs, manuka raisins are very beneficial to the eyes. Clarified butter is ghee, honey, almonds, almond oils, very beneficial to the eye factors. A daily routine, eye wash with the triphala tea or fennel tea, purification and detox, panchakarma, regularly according to the seasons, according to the age, regular use of anjana, collyrium, nasya, and foot care also, because the acupressure, they have this concept, all the bodily points are located in the feet. So giving that pressure and massage to that areas will beneficial to the eye. So one should look into that also, because it's whole integrative approach nowadays. It's a very popular word, and take advantage of anything which offers to you to enliven your health. Maintaining general hygiene and cleanliness, and very important, rest. Non-beneficial factors, avoid corrosive foods, means like all this barbecue sauce or vinegar, yeast, ketchup, pickles, tamari sauce, soya sauce, like all those things. Fermented yogurt and fermented milk and aged meats and then processed meats and too much sesame seeds, tahini, and using black gram too much. All this indigestive foods, medications that which are not beneficial to the eyes, and eat not properly eating, eating before the previous meal is digested. All these conditions will disturb the vata and creates the dry eye. Avoid daily routine, avoid holding off natural urges. The if you suppression of natural urges, number one principle out of these three principles get disturbed is vata. So vata gets disturbed means dry eyes. Avoid anger. Anger will create inflammation. Grief creates dryness, and all those things. Daytime sleep increase kapha, so that heaviness, lazy eyes. Avoid staying awake at late nights, creates again dryness. Avoid seeing very shiny, fast moving and minute objects. All these things not conducive to the eye vision. So the important, simple few things I'm going to tell you. Amla berry is, everyone knows, very popular and antioxidant and good for eyes and high vitamin C, rejuvenating and one of the main tonic, popular tonic. Chyawanprash contains the eye. If you're regularly taking elderly people, senior people, Chyawanprash, not only rejuvenating their tissues and also especially eye. Dhatri loham. This is also very simple prescription. Dhatri means again amalaki, loha means iron. Iron is good for blood, and dhatri means the amalaki is very good for the vision. So together, very beneficial. Now, this is one of the popular herb in the Western countries and European countries. So moringa, so much research is coming out now, has a lot of nutritional benefits, and especially calcium, protein, iron, amino acids, and which helps the body heal and build the muscles and also repair the molecules and cellular level of health. So this moringa is mentioned in Ayurveda long time ago. It's very beneficial to the eye health and antioxidant value also, and is beneficial and contains rich vitamin A also and C, and very beneficial to the eye. Moringa leaves, especially moringa leaves. Turmeric, all know, wonder herb. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory and also good for eye, and antioxidant, anti-tumor, and neurotropic and anti-sclerotic. So it opens the channels in the eyes, and anti-aging also, anti-aging. So turmeric, using turmeric as a spice in the home, very beneficial. Parsley, as I mentioned, excellent spice and contains lot of antioxidants and good for good calcium and also cancer fighting agents and rich in nutrients, and also especially good for eye health. So that's why try to use parsley in your food regularly. I have a wonder vegetable, carrots, contains a lot of nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C, and at least alternate days, elderly people nicely steamed, not raw carrots, salads, raw and salads, and eating raw leafy greens also not good for eye. Everything nicely steamed. Even you may be thinking while steam the vegetables we lose some minerals and vitamins, but the studies shows the person who is eating raw vegetables comparing to the person who is eating steamed vegetables, in fact gaining more benefits and more absorption, even though some little bit vitamins, minerals are losing, but he is absorbing more and gaining more benefit. So this is also very good for eye. And next one is, this is also very important, almonds. Almonds are excellent. A principle of similarity in Ayurveda, it says the similar structure of anything which is available in the nature is very beneficial to the physiology. The almonds looks like ice, so that's why it is very good for eyes also. Not only that, it contains all the antioxidants and good for eyes, and then fiber, protein, fat, and vitamin E, manganese, and magnesium. And this is very beneficial to the health and eye health, and especially almond oil adding to the cow's milk, nicely boiled with a little bit turmeric and cardamom, and adding some almond oil to the cow milk, and then drinking in the afternoon away from the food around 4:30 every day, half teaspoon almond oil, and adding to the half cup warm milk boiled with turmeric and cardamom, and drinking that, very beneficial. And also milk with a rose petals are very nice, soothing, and also softening the physiology, especially eyes, also very good for eyes. Adding like 1 to 2 teaspoon rose petal jam to the warm milk, drinking in the afternoon, very beneficial to the eye function. So with all these things, thank you again for Dr. Sachin, a wonderful organization, wonderful administration.